Welcome back to it, guys. The Now Morning Show continues where we're checking in with our friends at Nature Seekers because they definitely positively impact conservation and climate resilience. But to tell us more ways that they're doing so, the Director of Research and Board Director, Adrian Wilson, joins us here on the Now Morning Show. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning and thanks for having us.
Well, we need an update because, as we were saying before the break, we definitely know Nature Seekers for conservation efforts, specifically where sea turtles are concerned. And you guys have done magnificent work over the years. But if you were to introduce yourselves, Nature Seekers that is, to someone who hasn't heard of them before, what would you describe the entity as primarily?
So most definitely, I would have to begin by talking about sea turtles. But I think now I would transition a bit away from that because I think we've been looking at it more holistically. We're looking at that, what we call that ridge to reef system. So we're looking at the watershed that surrounds the nesting beach. We're looking at the reforestation work. We're looking at the degradation that's taking place there. We're actually also very heavily within the community. The community has played a really important part in getting the sea turtle conservation, we're getting the education out there.
Right.
So that has remained an integral part of what we're doing and what we continue to focus on. So supporting the community to get the work done.
Well, of course, communities in which you operate will first be impacted by your presence and then the nation at large.
That as well, yes.
But in terms of getting that out, you mentioned education, and I know that's a big part of conservation conversations as well.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit as to how that education is rolled out through Nature Seekers.
So, strangely enough, this week we are actually having a STEM camp, and that is being hosted at the Matura Primary School, but it's covering communities all the way up to, I think we've gotten up fast as Kumana, so from Matura to Kumana. So there are a lot of children there, I think between 47 to 50 children there, and they are going through just the paces of science, technology, education, art, and math. And that's just one avenue, but outside of that, we continue to do a lot of information sharing. We continue to do the tour guiding, and the tours aren't just tours where you just go and you see something, whether it's a walk through the forest or on the beach with turtles, but it's an educational experience, and we use the term experience conservation because once persons come in, we want them to actually get a feel for what is going on and really have that connection. And I think the education goes very far through that manner. Getting through to the children as well, or the younger ones. Yeah. They tend to carry the news back home to mommy and daddy as well.
Mommy today.
Yeah,
for sure. But that is true to adults as well. Yeah. When we experience things, it will last a little bit more, or have more of an impression on us.
Correct.
And that sounds then that there are a number of activities that we could look forward to from Nature Seekers.
Yeah,
so roll out that calendar for me.
There. So I mean, annually, most persons are familiar with our Matura Beach Cleanup. That takes place generally in March. So late February, early March, where we prepare the nesting beach for the turtle nesting season. We usually have, well, this year we should be having what's called the Eco Exhibit. I can't give a date just yet, but that will be shared through all social medias where we kind of just encourage persons to engage in everything eco and kind of figure out what's happening around them. We usually have a Turtley Fun Day where we kind of get the community engaged in educational experiences, but Christmas themed, so we usually have Santa Claus in the in the Turtley Fun Day as well, and then educational experiences throughout the year. So we visit several schools throughout the year. We are at pop-ups. As far as we can get to, we try to be there. We try to show up and shout and spread the word as much as possible.
You mentioned as far as you can get.
Yes.
Sounds like we could use some help, or probably have help from other partners as well. Tell me who's been supporting Nature Seekers and how we can do more.
So I think we've definitely been getting a lot of support from the corporate realm. Most recently, we were funded by the Green Fund. So the most active project is funded by the Green Fund. We have partners coming from Canada, as Age of Union, and well, more recently Rewild. The Jeff Small Grant Program. Recently we had Republic Bank. They're making a difference project. They did some sea turtle hatcheries, some nest boxes. They supported in that regard. And even more so, we had a very small beach cleanup recently that was more corporate groups would have come out and supported there as well. So, I mean, even if it isn't financial support, there are always things that we can do to support the work that is being done, whether it might just be hands on deck, whether it might just be spreading the word. So I think entirely or majorly what we can all do is kind of get involved in the work that is being done. We can tell someone, we can show someone, and just keep persons informed as to what is happening and how we can all do better to support that work.
Now, before you remind us of how we can do exactly that, get involved and put some hands on deck, you mentioned the most active project in terms of the funding. What is that project and how is it going so far?
Right, so that is what we call the Nectar Project. So it's the North Coast Ecotourism Revitalization.
Okay.
So Northeast Coast Ecotourism and Revitalization Project. So it started last year, that was in May. And so far, it's going really good. It allowed the team to expand. Previously, we were a very small team doing a lot of the major work. So now we have a few more persons on board to kind of extend the brain power and extend the work as well. So there's a lot more taking place now. So I think recently we started the watershed rehabilitation team, and daily their tasks would include going out into the forests, finding those areas that are degraded, beginning some level of reforestation, or figuring out what might be the best path to reforestation for those areas or rehabilitation. They continuously clear water courses. We included a tour guiding sector of things that kind of focuses more on getting persons out into the forest as well, up the rivers. We're considering doing a folklore tour, so that is something that is in development as well. So these are all new aspects that are coming on board. And as well, as I said, we have the education side of things. There's also a huge film and photography side as well. So very soon you may be seeing some short films coming out of Matura, directed and created in Matura,
nice.
Showing what Trinidad has to offer, what Tobago has to offer in terms of ecotourism as well.
I love that you're doing the ecotourism in a refreshing way, because we say the word so much, we kind of lose sight of what it actually means and why it's important. Could you, if you were to give us a little reminder, kind of, to persons who aren't in the bush, aren't doing the actual work, why it's important for the entire country?
I think, to sum it up nicely, we understand the role of tourism, and we understand the industry as an industry.
Right.
It's a revenue generating industry. And we a lot of times forget about the natural side of things, going back to whether it's natural culture, heritage, or just the trees, the animals, the wildlife that are out there. And that continues to sustain us. The forest continues to sustain us. It cleans our waterways and provides nice water into our water intake systems. It provides nourishment, it provides food, it provides lumber. So it's a whole lot of services that we need that come from the eco or the environment, as we want to say. And it's on us to maintain that environment. And the ecotourism side of things kind of brings persons into that environment to help them understand what the importance of that environment really is. And with that understanding, they can now move towards conserving it, protecting it, and sharing it with others.
Now, you make it sound easy, quite frankly, because you've simplified the process or the thought process behind it, but the actual action requires, as you said, a lot of manpower from a relatively small team. How do we, the average citizens, contribute to that on a more meaningful basis?
Yeah, I think one of the major things is getting the word out there and getting persons aware. Awareness is a major concern that we have. There's a lot of persons that haven't heard of it, or if they have heard of it, they don't thoroughly understand what it is. So getting involved is step 2. So once you're aware, you need to get involved. You need to come on a trail. You need to experience it. You need to involve yourself in it. And in doing that as well, we also need simple daily practices that can support the ecosystem or support the environment. So whether it might be recycling, whether it might be just watching how we use our water, managing our water use, building things in a sustainable manner, doing things in a sustainable manner, from hunting to fishing, whatever it might be. These are all simple tasks that we could just day by day, and it could get us a really long way in the long run.
Adrian, I'm really appreciative of how simple you've made this process sound. I'm hoping we adopt some of those suggestions as quickly as possible. But if we wanted more information or to learn how to do that better, how do we connect with Nature Seekers? So
we are available via social media. We have a website that is natureseekers.org. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all Nature Seekers TT. LinkedIn as well for those persons on that side of the platforms. So we're everywhere that you want to find us, email address natureseekers@gmail.com for general email. And you can contact us. You can find our contact numbers at any of those websites. Yeah.
And as we speak of nature, I hear our next guest coming. You guys, it's going to be a good one.
I was wondering where I was for a minute.
But for now, let me say thank you, not just for joining us,
yes,
but for continuing to do the work that you do. It's really important. We definitely appreciate it. And hopefully we will become more involved.
Yes, thank you for having us. And we hope to see you all very much involved, everyone as well.
Of course, Adrian Wilson, the Director of Research and one of the Board Directors for Nature Seekers, giving us a bit of an update as to how they're continuing their conservation and climate resilience efforts. Guys, you want to stick around because the next guest is loud here on the Now Morning Show.